We were talking about ambition in relation to Van Dijk staying, and obviously that would bring us back to the topic of transfers, because Slots mentioned about how Van Dijk and Salah staying at Liverpool would be a big attraction for players to come into the club. There's been a few rumours online recently and in the past as well, linking Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton to the club. Is he someone who you could see being on the club's radar? Because we know Slot values quality in possession, and based on what I've seen of Adam Wharton, he's certainly not lacking in that department.
Yeah, so definitely a player that's liked by Liverpool, because I know for a fact that they liked him when he was at Blackburn before he made that move to Crystal Palace. He was very much on the radar there. I guess this is a problem that sometimes Liverpool haven't made that jump when the player's been in the Championship and then another Premier League club's done it, and all of a sudden they perform incredibly and they're worth kind of 100 million now. So maybe sometimes you'd like to see Liverpool take that risk and go in there early, but they definitely liked him then. And I doubt they've seen anything at Crystal Palace that has put them off. He's an absolutely brilliant player in my opinion. I do enjoy watching him as well. Really, really calm footballer, really composed in possession. I like the way he moves the ball. So yeah, no doubts that they still like him. I'm a little bit skeptical about the idea that they would sign him this summer, if I'm honest. I don't think central midfield is an area Liverpool are going to go big on. I think, the clear areas for strengthening a centre forward for me, and that's going to cost a lot of money, and a starting left back as well. And I think those are seen internally as Liverpool's priorities. Central midfield is going to be a lot lower down the list, I would say, as well, because probably going to need a backup right back, aren't they, now, to back up Conor Bradley. There are other areas of the pitch. Centre half's another one. Looks like Joe Gomez will leave. So there's a lot of turnover in other areas of the pitch. And midfield, I think they probably could do something there, but I think it's more likely to be necessitated by maybe a Wataru Endo going and just bringing in someone for that kind of support role. Maybe someone who can play a little more, but that's not that's not Wharton, sorry, is it? He's going to come, and when he makes that big move, he's going to want 30-odd Premier League games, and I don't think Liverpool are looking for that kind of player at the moment. Maybe in a couple of summers' time, that will become a priority for them, but I just don't see it being in this summer window. And so with Wharton and his price tag, I'm struggling to see how that one comes together.
So it sounds very much like if Liverpool do go in for a midfielder, we shouldn't necessarily expect them to be an immediate starter, and perhaps we can expect them to rather be part of a rotation group, perhaps with Curtis Jones, because we've seen this season it's been Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, and Dominic Szoboszlai as the midfield three, with Curtis Jones sort of rotating for each one of them. So can we take that any midfielder that is brought in would probably be more of a rotation piece alongside, say, Curtis Jones?
Yeah, I think when I say replacing Endo, by the way, don't necessarily mean they want to bring someone in who's only going to play Endo's minutes, because, I mean, who's going to want that role? Who's going to join for that? Unless it is a sort of Endo type who's kind of towards the end of the career, wants the chance to play for a big club, you're going to struggle to sell that role. I think there's, they would like to put more rotation in there. They would like someone who could be involved a little bit more, who is trusted slightly more by the manager. But I still don't think we're looking at someone who, like I say, is coming in and they're saying, we want to play you for 30-odd Premier League games. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I still think that three is going to be the starting three largely. That's what I would kind of expect, with Curtis Jones getting plenty of games, and then hopefully another getting plenty of games as well as the rotation, but not necessarily a nailed-on starter. I just don't think it can be seen as a huge priority at the moment. And I know it's a real talking point online and on social media, but for me, I just think the instant improvements to this starting 11 for me are, like I say, left back and centre forward, and midfield. Possibly you could introduce someone, but I just don't see it. And I think there's a real obsession about it. There's continued, despite the discovery of how good Gravenberch is in a deeper role, and I think he will get better. By the way, he's still very, very young, and he's also going to get used to the intensity of the seasons more. I think this one's been a bit tough on him towards the end, but yeah, so there's improvement to be had there. So as I say, I personally, and I think Liverpool would agree with me, don't really see that as number one priority. But that's not to discount that they will sign a midfielder at some point.